Apparently, there are piles of evidence, including ballistics and fingerprint evidence, pointing to Luigi Mangione, the 26-year-old Ivy League-educated suspect in the murder of UnitedHealthcare CEO Brian Thompson.
In Mangione's possession at the time of his arrest was a brief manifesto and a separate spiral-bound notebook, which allegedly contained his plans to, quote, whack the CEO at the annual parasitic bean counter convention.
Wow. What things led to the radicalization of a bright, privileged young man like Mangione? Joining us is former FBI agent Brad Garrett, ABC News crime and terrorism analyst. Sometimes the really smart ones just slip into violence, don't they, Brad?
Yeah, they do. And I think what happened to him without knowing is that, he has all of the things you just mentioned. He finishes a master's degree in engineering and computer science, and then he sort of drifts. And you see him going to Hawaii, San Francisco. Maybe there's even some discussion he may have gone to Japan for a while. Nothing wrong, obviously, with any of that, but he sort of is in this wandering stage. Then he gets hurt at some point. His back gets injured, which obviously would have been – he'd had to deal with the healthcare industry, insurance, et cetera, when that occurred. I think he's had at least one, maybe two surgeries. But at some point, the following happened, because it's sort of the stages of radicalization, is that he got exposed to sort of a radical way of thinking in reference to the healthcare insurance industry. And my guess is, there's going to be other people at least involved in conversations, probably not involved in the shooting at all, but involved in this sort of radical way of thinking. And so what happens is he may have become intrigued with that. And then what happens at some point, you accept this sort of radical view. And then the third step is you justify violence to further the cause of this ideology or philosophy. And then you actually go out and do it, which he obviously did. So all of that happened to him on some levels, because just what you read alone tells you where his mind is, that he is righteous. You look at his behavior outside the courthouse, where the deputies had to force him into the courthouse. He's screaming, and it's all about, basically he's on the right side of all of this, and the rest of us aren't. So that's how you get there, whether you're super smart or not.
We are talking with ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett. And Brad, let's play a little bit of this sample of what's being said about Luigi Mangione on social media.
He killed someone, but I can understand.
What do you think his motive was?
It seems like maybe he had someone he cared about that died because of our healthcare system.
That's some of the most tame stuff that we're seeing on social media. And as a retired law enforcement officer, what are your thoughts regarding the positive social media response to what he did or allegedly did?
Well, it's also very, sadly not surprising, but it's very disconcerting, because will it sort of breed or fester a copycat, or, convince somebody else of, look, I can, I've had a bad experience. I'm angry, I'm mad, I'm, going to go try to harm somebody else. And you can see the healthcare insurance industry has responded, by going to virtual meetings, by pulling their CEOs and other executives off their website, and I think probably some are getting physical security, I would guess, at this point.
Yeah, and it feels kind of like what may have led to his radicalization in the first place is, thought like this, that it's okay to take out the heads of companies if they're not, doing what you think they should be doing.
Well, right. I mean, it's the same mindset of why if you're an ISIS or Al-Qaeda, you go and blow something up and shoot a bunch of people. It's for different philosophies, of course, but it's all for, quote unquote, the greater good. And what happens is they dehumanize what they're doing. That was perfectly fine to shoot this CEO because he's part of this corrupt system that needs to change. And, people need to get sacrificed for that to occur. So that goes into this sort of radical thought that I believe is his base.
All right.
Hey, Brad, thanks so much for your expertise this morning. ABC News crime and terrorism analyst Brad Garrett.
Thanks for watching Arizona's Morning News. Click to watch more from KTAR News and hit the button in the middle to subscribe.